over the world today. Thank you. I invite us to rise in body or spirit, and let's sing together, "'Tis a gift to be simple." Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. When we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to God to men we shan't be ashamed.
Good morning. Whoa, okay. Welcome to the NUUC Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are glad you are here. My name is Debbie Gentry. I use she, her pronouns, and I am your worship associate for today. This is a come as you are congregation, and you are welcome here just as you are. I want to extend a special welcome to any visitors. We would love for you to stay connected, so please sign up for our communications at the main entrance. Here at NUUC UU, we foster a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. We honor the ground we walk upon and acknowledge this land as a traditional and ancestral homeland of the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. We recognize and honor the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our world today. Well, tomorrow, December the 9th, the women's group invites you to welcome the Yuletide from 6:30 to 8:30. Join us as we explore the Yuletide season spanning from the winter solstice to the beginning of the new solar year. Please bring 24 cookies, fancy, simple, store-bought, homemade, for a fun cookie exchange. Beverages and savory snacks will be provided. This event is open to all women. Let's come together to share joy and connection during this special time of the year. You know, for many, the holiday season is filled with some sadness and longing for those who are no longer with us, for relationships that are broken, and for good times that are no longer. So we invite you to join us this Tuesday evening, December the 10th at 7, for Circle of Light, a holiday remembrance services with Reverend Dana, Anne Marie Kaczynski, Alan Van Nest, and Ryan Marvel. Next Sunday's service is the presence of wonder, seeing the world through the eyes of a child. Within each of us lives the spirit of a child for whom all things are new. Join Janin Wright and our children's choir, led by Cherry Sokolowski and Katrina Johnson, as we celebrate the joy of Christmas through story and song. We are also doing our Parents' Night Out and Kids' Christmas Party, and it's this Saturday, December the 14th at 5 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. So we're going to give parents and guardians a break. Whether it's they need to do some Christmas shopping, catching up with friends, relaxing, and your kids can come here and have a festive night in Parker Hall featuring dinner and games and crafts and Christmas movies. So let Jan and Wright know, and you can do that at namakwadre@gmail.com. So we can plan accordingly, and let's make your holiday season a little brighter. I'd like to introduce a special guest, Kim Akeley Sharon with the Thompson Education Foundation. She's here to talk to us a little bit about the Giving Tree and the programs the Giving Tree supports. Kim, come on up.
You'll want to use the mic. Yeah, please. Otherwise it will confuse you.
Certainly, no problem. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me a few moments to speak with you today. And Kathy, thank you for inviting me this morning to be able to share a little bit more about the Giving Tree that you're also generously supporting this holiday season. Very, very quickly, I want to just mention Thompson Education Foundation. We are a nonprofit entity. We support Thompson School District students and staff. That's our mission, but we are a separate entity. We are not connected to the district through finances or anything else like that. The two programs that will benefit from the Giving Tree, and I know you had asked, I know there were some questions about what you can provide. So there's two different programs that are going to support, it's going to support. One of those is our Resiliency Fund, and that's for students who are most, by and large, going to be unhoused. And what that means within a school district is a little bit different. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're sleeping in a car, although they could be. It just means that they don't have fixed, regular, or adequate housing. And even though they might have a roof over their heads, it still means that whatever situation they're in is going to make it hard for them to be able to be in school and to concentrate when they're there. And so we try to close that gap as much as we can through what the district can provide. And so those types of, the other program that we'll also support is our clothing closet. I don't know how many of you have heard about that. The clothing closet provides clothes to students and their families throughout the school year. The numbers are staggering, honestly, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. The clothing closet is actually very, very close to here. It's on 5th and Madison Avenue in the Community Connections building. The cool thing about the clothing closet being there is that the students that Community Connections supports, which are students up to 21 who might have some learning challenges or some other disability that makes they need that transition, is that they're learning life skills because they're doing some laundry, they're doing sorting, counting, packing, and so it's a really great partnership. When I talk about those numbers, this year so far, and they continue to identify kids who are McKinney-Vento eligible, and that's the federal law that allows for unhoused within the school district, 490 students so far, and that's K-12. 51 of those are unaccompanied homeless youth, and what that means is that they are not living with a parent or guardian, they're couch surfing. Soon they're going to be able to go to our shelter that will be opening for them at the end of January, the landing, but for now, they are kind of unmoored and untethered. That's where a lot of the gift cards that we ask for will go, because those students, they don't always have consistent food. And so there's a lot of different ways we close that gap, but that's really where those gift cards are going. The clothing closet, so far this year, 180 orders, that's through last Friday, which accounts for about 225 families, because you can ask for more than one person support through the clothing closet with those order forms. The need has exponentially increased to this year. And so when it comes to the clothing things that we asked for, those can be used, gently used, please. They can be gently used, they can be new. Socks and underwear, I'm just gonna ask for new. We're just gonna put that down. And there's that. And one other really quick thing that I want to also mention is we do Project Prom Colorado, which provides prom attire to students, everything from dresses to shoes to suit coats to cummerbunds to anything that might be. We do a pop-up shop at Centera Promenade every spring around prom time, and we will accept accessories, dresses, suit coats, all of those things from this congregation as well, if you have those. They don't have to be part of the giving tree, but if you have some of those things that you want to clean out, go ahead and put them there, and we'll make sure they get to the kids. So thank you again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for being here. Thanks, Kim. What a great program. When I lived in Houston, I worked for a nonprofit that helped children and families. Please give generously to the Giving Tree. If you have a brief personal joy or sorrow you would like to share in today's service, but don't want to come up to the mic, please write it down on the form to be collected by the ushers during the offering. And finally, please join us after the service in the building behind us for coffee, snacks, and great conversation. And I'd like to thank everyone who's involved in today's service.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rev Dana Lightsey, and I use she, her pronouns, and it's a joy to be with you once again. Today, we are celebrating the present moment. So I invite us to take a nice breath in and to come fully present as you let it out here in this moment. We are together. Let's take it in one more time. And coming right here. And I'm going to also invite us to practice the sacred practice of scooch. It's wonderful that we have a wonderful crowd here today. And so as more people come in, if you can maybe make some room for more people as they're coming in. We've got some spaces here and there. Thank you very much for that. It's a spiritual practice, the practice of scooch. It really is. Sharing space. There's an ancient Indian from India writer who is very famous in his day, and it still is today, Kalidasa. And Kalidasa wrote this amazing poem about being in the present moment. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief discourse, in its brief course, lies all the verities and realities of your existence. The bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of achievement are but experiences of time. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. And today, well lived, makes yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. So look well, therefore, to this day, Such is the salutation to the ever new dawn. May it be so. And as we look to this present moment, let us celebrate being together with our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And as we also celebrate the present moment, I invite you to turn and greet those around you and welcome all of our newcomers. Thank you. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit. Let's sing together, Morning Has Come. I'm so delighted to share this cool story with anyone who identifies as a child. So if you consider yourself a child of any age, 6 months to 102, come on up. Woohoo! And you'll see that the pictures are up on the screen today, so you want to turn and look at the screen. Awesome. So as I just mentioned, today we're talking about being in the present moment. What other moment could you be in? But often we don't realize we're in the present moment. Come on up, sweetheart, if you want to. Yeah. Great. Welcome, welcome. So, see, I'm going to tell you the story of Peter and the Golden Thread by Robin Sharma. And Peter was a young boy who could never live in the moment. When he was in school, he was dreaming about playing outside. Anybody else ever do that? Yeah, me too. When he was outside playing, he was dreaming of his summer vacation. And Peter constantly daydreamed, never taking the time to savor the special moments that filled his day. And one morning, Peter was out walking in the forest near his home. And feeling tired, he decided to rest on a patch of grass. And eventually, he fell asleep. Anybody like to fall asleep in the grass? Yeah, me too. After only a few minutes of deep sleep, he heard someone calling his name. "Peter! Peter!" came the shrill voice from above. As he slowly opened his eyes, he was startled to see a woman standing over him, and she must have been over 100 years old. I don't quite resemble that remark, but maybe. And her snow-white hair dangled well below her shoulders like a matted blanket of wool. And in this woman's wrinkled hand was a magic little ball with a hole in the center, and out of the hole came dangled a long golden thread. "Peter," she said, "this is the thread of your life." Oh my gosh, his entire life is in that thread. If you pull the thread just a bit, an hour will pass in seconds. If you pull it harder, whole days will pass in just minutes. If you pull harder, really hard, with all your might, months and even years will pass by in days. Well, Peter was very excited to discover this new thing. "I'd like to have it, if I may," he asked. And the elderly woman quickly reached down and gave the ball with the magic thread to the young boy. Well, the next day, Peter was sitting in his classroom feeling restless and bored. And suddenly, he remembered his new toy. And he pulled it a little bit on the golden thread, and he quickly found himself out in his garden, playing. Hey, that's a good bargain. And realizing the power of the magic thread, Peter soon grew tired of being a schoolboy and longed to be a teenager, with all the excitement that phase of life would bring. So again, he held the ball and he pulled hard on the thread, and suddenly he was a teenager with a very pretty girlfriend named Elise. But Peter, he still wasn't content. He never learned to enjoy being in the moment and to explore the simple wonders of every stage of his life. Instead, he dreamed of being an adult. So again, he pulled hard on the thread, and many years flew by in an instant. And now he found he was transformed into a middle-aged adult. And Elise was now his wife, and Peter was surrounded by a house full of kids. I know. But Peter noticed something else. His brown hair had started to turn gray, and his once youthful mother, whom he loved so dearly, had grown old and frail. Yet Peter could not live in the here and now. So once again, he pulled on the magic thread and waited for changes to appear. Uh-oh. Peter now found that he was a 90-year-old man. His thick hair had turned white as snow, and his beautiful young wife, Elise, had also grown old and had passed away a few years earlier. His wonderful children had grown up and left home to lead their own lives. And for the first time in his entire life, Peter realized that he had not taken time to embrace the wonders of living. He had never gone fishing with his kids or taken a moonlight stroll with Elise. He had never planted a garden or read those wonderful books his mother had loved to read. Instead, he had hurried through his life, never resting to see all that was good along the way. How do you think that made him feel? Yeah, not good, not good, not good. Do you think he was sad, missing all those things, all those parts of his life? So he became very sad at this discovery. And he decided to go out to the forest where he used to walk as a boy to clear his head and warm his spirit. And as he entered the forest, he noticed the little saplings of his childhood had grown into mighty oaks. And the forest itself had matured into a paradise of nature. He laid down on a small patch of grass, and he fell into a deep slumber. And after only a minute, he heard someone calling out to him. "Peter, Peter," cried the voice. And he looked up in astonishment to see that it was none other than that old woman who had given him the ball with the magic golden thread many years earlier. "Have you enjoyed my special gift?" she asked. "At first it was fun, but now I hate it," he responded bluntly. "My whole life has passed before my eyes without giving me the chance to enjoy it. Sure, there would have been sad times as well as great times, but I haven't had the chance to experience either. I feel empty inside. I have missed the gift of living." "Well, you're very ungrateful," said the old woman. "Still, I will give you one last wish. I'd like to go back to being a schoolboy and live my life over again," Peter quickly responded, and then he returned to deep sleep. And again he heard someone calling his name, and he opened his eyes. Who could it be this time, he wondered. And when he opened his eyes, he was absolutely delighted to see his mother standing over his bedside. She looked young and healthy and radiant. And Peter realized that the strange woman from the forest had indeed granted his wish, and he had returned to his former life. "Hurry up, Peter. You sleep too much. Your dreams will make you late for school if you don't get up right this minute," his mother admonished. Needless to say, Peter dashed out of bed and began to live his life the way he had hoped. He went on to live a full life, one with many delights, joys, and triumphs. But it all started when he stopped sacrificing the present moment for the future, and he began to live in this very moment. Yeah? So now I invite us in this very moment to stand up and let's sing "Go Now in Peace." Let's make our arch. Here we go.
What a story. Whoa. Ooh. Today's chalice lighting is a quote from the book Held, Showing Up for Each Other's Mental Health, by community minister and mental health advocate Barbara F. Myers, where she expresses the importance of presence in this way. Once, during my ministerial internship, a woman I'll call Clara came up to me during the hustle and bustle before the Sunday service. I knew that Clara struggled with anxiety. Now, in great distress, she told me how anxious she was and that she didn't know what to do. She was frantic, and I didn't know what I could do for her. At a loss, I suggested that we get out of the busy hallway and go together to a nearby empty room. I sat with her there, holding her hand in silence and thinking, God, what can I do? What can I say? I don't know what to do. After a couple of minutes, she said to me, I feel so much better just sitting here with you. Well, I was amazed to realize by being present with Clara, caring about her, I had helped her, that my presence in and of itself was a gift. And that her acknowledging that to me made it a gift for me too. We light this chalice, if I can find the lighter, perhaps. We light this chalice for the gift of presence that we give to one another. We're going to light this chalice for the gift of presence that we're going to give one another. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right. We have lit this chalice.
Thank you so much, Debbie. And now we're going to take our morning offering. And each week that you support the work of this congregation and all the ways that we live our values through your own generosity. And in addition to supporting the church, half of your donations support a nonprofit organization helping to make a difference far beyond our walls. This month, we are donating to the Teepee Raisers. Their mission statement explains, we establish diverse coalitions of partners to alleviate poverty in Native communities, empower youth, create opportunities for reconciliation, and honor Indigenous wisdom. The Teepee Raisers do a great deal of work on Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, I've mentioned before. It's the poorest place in the entire country. And they also do a lot of work with the Navajo and Hopi reservations. So please support them as you're able. Thank you. during this time of preparing for the holidays, we're probably buying more stuff. Seems like the holidays are all about stuff. Gifts for loved ones, food and more food, and cookies and food, yeah. Clothes and decorations, the list goes on and on. Our lives seem to be concerned with stuff, material objects for sure, that we need or want or have too much of, but also all that stuff that rolls around in our heads, worries and opinions, judgments, to-do lists. It's endless. I have a lot of personal conversations with people, and they wrestle with the challenges of their lives and their own beliefs in our conversations. One thing that comes up again and again is one's sense of identity. Where does it come from? Who are we? I often ponder. Without our stuff, what's left? Anything? Does the stuff in our lives and the stuff in our heads give our lives meaning and create happiness and fulfillment? Peace? Anybody have all that stuff in your head help you feel peace? Just checking. Or is it all a distraction from finding happiness, meaning, fulfillment, and peace? I think back to some of the most profound moments in my life as I think of this question, like, what really matters if it's not our stuff? And one experience that I was honored to have numerous times was performing in professional orchestras, wind ensembles, and other quartets, quintets, etc. I was principal flutist at the University of Northern Colorado in the early to mid 80s. Yes, back a long time ago. Back when University of Northern Colorado was the top music school in the state. And there were many amazing moments, but I especially remember one of the high moments was playing Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony with the famous violin soloist, Nadia Salerno-Sonnenberg. The fourth movement of Tchaikovsky's Fourth is insanely fast and crazy difficult. So imagine with me, and I see other musicians who know this experience, 100 people on stage, everyone with an instrument in their hands, depending on each other to be completely and totally in sync together with the conductor and the soloist. You cannot lose focus. It is not an option. It's do or die. All solos have to be perfect in every way. All the players are listening as closely as they can for the slightest nuances, articulation, pitch, intonation, phrasing, tone quality. Everyone is doing their best to match each other perfectly in every half a millimeter of a second. Microsecond. And let's not forget that we're also playing and expressing the feeling of the music. We trust each other. We have to trust each other. And from the moment of the conductor's downbeat, we blended together to become one entity, all of us creating music together in the present moment. It was terrifying, but only if you thought about it, which you could not do because there was no room for thinking about it. And if you did, you were going to screw up, so don't go there. So it was pure brilliance and elation. But it caused each and every one of us to absolutely have to be in the present moment. And I think back on that, and I think in those moments, my identity completely fell away. We all were the music, and that's it. That's it. I never thought I'd experience that sense of oneness again to that degree until I began meditating. Very different kind of experience, and yet finally there it was. The present moment, just waiting. I've noticed preparing for this service that I've been in a much better mood because I've been really practice. You know, how hypocritical would it be for me to talk about being in the present moment without practicing being in the present moment? So I've been practicing that. And suddenly all my concerns and worries, they're not gone, but they're not dominating. The great Vietnamese Buddhist monk and teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, explains in a poem that he wrote, or a reading that he wrote, called "Our True Home is in the Present Moment." He says, our true home is in the present moment. To live in the present moment is a miracle. The miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the green earth in the present moment. Are you coming into the present moment with me now? To appreciate the beauty and the peace that are available now. Peace is all around us, in the world and in nature, and within us. It is in our bodies and our spirits. Once we learn to touch this peace, we will be healed and transformed. He says it is not a matter of faith. It is a matter of practice. We need only to find ways to bring our body and mind back into the present moment so we can touch what is refreshing, what is healing, and what is wondrous. End quote. That sounds pretty amazing. Sign me up for that one. I'd love that. Yes? Yeah. Playing in a professional orchestra is intense with a great deal of pressure. And I have to say, I've always had stage fright, and it terrified me every time. But at our best moments, we transcended all of that to create incredible music. Sometimes it is the most intense moments of our lives when we're able to transcend the churning noise in our heads and our attachment to all of our stuff, and instead truly experience the present moment and who we are when we are able to let go of everything else, when we have to let go of everything else. Which reminds me of a great Zen Buddhist parable. So it's about a monk who was traveling across a field, and he encountered a tiger. Well, he started to run. He fled, and the tiger chased after him, and he came to a precipice. And the only way he could get away from the tiger was to try to climb over the precipice. And he caught hold of a root of a wild vine, and he swung himself down over the edge. And the tiger sniffed and snarled and tried to swipe at him. He couldn't quite get to him. And trembling as he was hanging there, the monk looked down. And far below, a second tiger was waiting for him to fall. so he could eat him. And then, out of a crevice in the cliff, 2 mice, one white and one black, appeared. And little by little, they began to gnaw away at the vine. The monk noticed a luscious strawberry nearby. And grasping the vine with one hand, he plucked the strawberry with the other and ate it. Delicious. How sweet it tasted. Nothing ever tasted that good. The present moment is all we have. And when we truly realize the truth of this, we see how sweet it is. And in this present moment, I'll say that I've also had an argument about the whole thing about the present moment within myself, and maybe you do too. It's like, well, how can I ever get anything done if I'm always just in the present moment? Any of you ever think of that? How can I ever plan ahead if I'm just in the present moment? And I had the blessing to study with Thich Nhat Hanh's monks and nuns when they came to Estes Park years ago. And I asked them that question, and they said, oh, you still can plan ahead. You can do everything that you need to do. You just be in the present moment while you are doing it. So that may feel like multitasking. But it is an amazing experience. I invite us to challenge ourselves with that experience now as we share with each other the joys and sorrows of our lives. And as we share what has been happening in our lives and all the things that we wrestle with, for whoever would like to share, I invite us to continue to be in the present moment. And there's another use of presence that Debbie brought up in the chalice lighting, and that is the presence that you are bringing to this moment. And when you are present in this moment, you bring more of your presence. You know what I mean? Did that make sense? I feel you all here with me. So if you have a brief personal joy or sorrow you would like to share, I invite you to either raise your hand and I'll bring you the microphone, or please come forward and you can share. And if there are any written comments, I wasn't handed any, so probably not. And if there are any comments online, just share them in the chat. Good, very good. And our Zoom host will read them aloud. And let's respond together with, we hold you in our hearts. Jennifer.
Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm not very much in the moment these days. My dad turned 99 in September, and he had told us that he was kind of done at 99. And sure enough, his body is just kind of saying, I'm done. So our family is struggling with how to balance, I'm done, but I'm really not. I'd really like one more summer. So he lives up in the mountains. So our family's struggling with how to care for him in the mountains. We're getting very tired. And so Peter and I have been frantically building our kitchenette in the basement to convince him to move to an apartment in our basement where he will get to enjoy some independence, but still have us have a watchful eye over him. So that's been very much a process for a man who's lived all these years in his home. So we're kind of in the midst of family struggle here.
Yeah.
Keep him in your hearts, please.
Thank you. We hold you in our hearts. Thank you. Wow. Yeah.
I kind of feel like a tag team to what she was talking about. So I've been doing a lot of sorrowful work, a lot of grief work this season, as I watch a very good friend going through a similar thing of wanting to remain independent, but slipping away, and and his family trying to force him to take residence in North Carolina against his will. And so it's a big loss for me. He's a good friend of mine. But then I find myself grieving about all the past. So I'm in the past a lot of all past losses that I haven't finished grieving. My mom and dad passing, my oldest sister recently. And I had to start thinking about, you know what, this is just not who I am to stay in this place forever. A long time, it feels like forever, right? As I'm doing job search too. And so I started looking for those little joys. What is it you used to be joyful about during this season? And what can you find in the joy? And I came to the conclusion, regardless of how long this friend has to remain in my life, I'm going to be the best friend I can be. And I'm going to find joy and you have seen him, I bring him to things that I can. So yesterday we went to the farmer's market together, and he couldn't get around so well, but he had a great time looking for joyful things. And then all of a sudden, I had another joy. I got a call from the district to come and interview on Friday for a position at Fort Collins High School. So it's something to look forward to.
Fantastic. Thank you, Linda. We hold you in our hearts.
This service today is really ringing true for me. I have 4 very young grandchildren, and we are still learning how to navigate through all of this, especially during the holidays. Yeah, they need this, they need that, please get them this, please get them that. And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, where does one begin? But I then got a lovely email from an old college friend, and she and I both grew up in very musical families. And she was saying that she has no recordings of her family playing music and singing. And I mean, her house was just filled with music all the time, as well as mine. And she encouraged me to start recording my favorite folk songs, my favorite piano songs, and a few family stories to give to my grandchildren. And to me, that of course is very meaningful for me, but I'm hoping that it's something that music is something I can pass on to my grandchildren. And I think I've done it with my kids, but I really want my grandkids to be touched by this. So I'm going to have a new project ahead of me. So that's that.
That's wonderful. We hold you in our hearts, Andrea. Thank you. Leo.
I'm filled with happiness and sorrow, kind of. My family celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday because the real Thanksgiving, everybody was sick. I said, please stay home, don't come. So we had a wonderful time yesterday doing it with my granddaughters, my son and 2 sons, and daughter-in-law. My sadness is about the daughter-in-law who has DACA status and is in continuous fear. She is so scared. She works for the Thompson School District. She's also a phlebotomist. But the DACA renewal is so crazy. It's only valid for 2 years. She filed early, so now it's only valid for a year and a half. It cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
A colleague of her lost a job because the DACA expired.
Yeah.
And she is on antidepressant medication.
Oh, yeah.
And all we could do, I said, I love you, we'll take care of you, we'll be at your side, whatever happens. She knows nobody in Mexico, nobody. So if she gets deported, it's like the end of life, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, thank you for
Oh,
listening. Yeah.
thank you. I'm so sorry. We hold you in our hearts. We hold you in our
Thank you.
hearts. Thank you. Oh, okay, okay.
My name's Nathan. I just wanted to say it's been nice to be back at church after being gone for a little while.
It's nice to have you back, Nathan. We hold you in our hearts, always.
My name's Cherry. In the present moment, I've been really enjoying all of the decorations that people worked hard on, the tree, the wreaths, and I know it was a lot of work, and I am grateful to them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. May we hold all the people who did the decorating in our hearts with joy and gratitude. Yeah, thank you. It does look beautiful.
My name's Vicki, and several years ago, our family always has a reunion every so often. Several years ago, I'm remembering a grandniece of mine who was about this tall, whirling around in a little white dress on a boat that we were renting, saying about our family, "We need more babies." Well, that little grandniece grew up, and on December 5th, she had a baby.
Oh,
So his name is
congratulations.
Cooper, and we're just delighted for her and her
Oh,
family.
great. Congratulations. We hold you in our hearts. Wonderful. And on Zoom? 2. Great.
Yeah, we have 2 today on Zoom. The first is from Janet Gillette, asking us to send good juju for the healing of her back.
Oh, Janet, we hold you in our hearts and we are sending you mountains and all kinds of waves of great juju. May you heal. Yes, thank you. May you heal well and quickly.
Secondly, we have Sally Henry. Many of you know Sally's gentle golden dachshund, Autumn. She often came to Namakwa meetings with her. Autumn died unexpectedly last Friday from undiagnosed abdominal tumors. It's very sad, but she had good final years.
Yeah, yeah. Sally, we hold you in our hearts during this time of grieving. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Autumn, I learned about that. I miss little Autumn. She was so cute. Wonderful. Thank you. And as we hold each other in our hearts, I invite you now into a spirit of meditation with me. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, your true home is in the here and the now. So welcome to your true home in the here and now. Let us breathe in. And let it go. What do you notice in your body, in your mind? Let's breathe in again. And let it go. Allow yourself a moment to just scan through your body, scan through your surroundings, through your mind. What does this present moment feel like? This present moment will never happen again. How fortunate we all are to have this moment. No matter what is happening in your life, at least you are still alive. still able to taste the sweetness of life, the sweetness of this moment here together. We are blessed with the gift of life, here, now, here, now, here, now. Beautiful, amazing life. Do you feel the natural feeling of gratitude arising just for being alive, for the air that is granted to you in each moment, for all that the earth gives you to keep you alive? Kosi Revaya. Kosi Revaya. Our cup is full. Our cup runs over. We are surrounded by the overflowing miracle of life in this present moment. Kosi Revaya. Our cup is full. Our cup runs over. Kosi Revaya. Our cup is full. Our cup runs over in every moment. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be. So, in my ongoing argument about the present moment, is it really all it's cracked up to be? I consider these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. Mindfulness helps you go home to the present, and every time you go there and recognize a condition of happiness that you have, happiness comes. So when you recognize happiness in the present moment, it builds more happiness. When you can touch on that happiness within, it grows. He also says when you love someone, you have to offer that person the best that you have. The best thing that we can offer another person is our true presence. And he says if we are not fully ourselves, truly present in the moment, we miss everything. Just like the little boy in the book, we miss our lives. I'll never forget a wedding that I played music for many years ago. It was out in the country, and we were doing a flute and violin duet, duet music. It was good fun. But it was at the bride's home, and the bride wanted everything to be perfect. Anybody ever know a bride that wants everything to be perfect? Many of us have been those brides. She was clearly anxious and walking around everywhere for it looked like it had been hours and hours. She hadn't eaten in days, and she was barking out orders and not paying attention to anyone else in her wedding party and being really bossy and ignoring all the well wishes of her friends. In other words, she was not even close to being in the present moment and taking in what this actually meant. And I wondered if she would be able to take in her vows when it came time. Well, when it came time, and she stood up there, and she passed out. They had to bring her a chair. And she passed out twice, actually. So just like the story of the golden thread, I am sure I am not alone in saying that there are significant times in my life that I have checked out. Maybe not passed out, but checked out. Or was too busy and distracted to be fully present. Too much of my life I've jerked on that thread and lost time in my life. Sadly, it was all too often with friends and loved ones when I was focused on something else. Looking back, I'd love to have those moments back, to be fully present to the miracle of the moment, to suck the marrow out of it, right? Wow. Well, the Tibetan Buddhist nun and teacher, Pema Chodron, explains that so often we go through life as if we have a paper bag on our heads. We could be sitting on the edge of the spectacular Grand Canyon, but we can't see it because we have this bag over our heads. Anybody ever go on a vacation for something special and you just kind of miss it because you're so busy with packing and moving, and maybe that doesn't happen to you? Okay. But in that bag that's over our heads, we think life is small, depressing, brown, and bland. Yet if we just take the bag off, even for a moment, the astounding beauty of the present moment takes our breath away, and we suddenly come alive. We're suddenly alive. Has anyone noticed this play on words, presence as a gift and presence? Perhaps the greatest gift we can truly give is our presence, experiencing the present moment and sharing the fullness of our kind-hearted attention. Another great spiritual teacher, Eckhart Tolle, says, "There is only one perpetrator of evil on the planet." They get your attention. Only one perpetrator of evil on the planet: human unconsciousness. That realization brings true forgiveness. And with forgiveness, your victim identity dissolves. And your true power emerges. The power of presence. Instead of blaming the darkness, and there's a lot of blaming the darkness, at least in my life, you bring in the light. So as the holidays unfold, perhaps you will be around relatives and friends who hold drastically different views, or you're just worried about how the future is about to unfold. Perhaps you are angry at the results of the election and you have some choice thoughts and words about those who voted differently than yourself. This too, I have to admit, is a paper bag over one's head. It is not about the present moment. The anger and the impulse to fight drags us into the unconsciousness that Eckhart Tolle is speaking of. We can't fix or change anyone else. As much as we try, as much as we want to, we can't fix or change anyone else. Rats. We can only do our own work to become more conscious and more present. And here's the irony of it. In that quiet presence that we bring into those challenging moments, it shines that light instead of blaming the darkness. And that shifts everything, because your presence in that moment, just your presence, can make a positive impact far beyond any of your best convincing arguments. So may you be in the present moment, living with joy in the here and now, the only place joy resides, feeling the fullness of the gift of life. The gift of life, here it is, and here it is again, and here it is again, and here it is again. And may your presence, as you are present in the present moment, bless the world with brilliance and light. Let your light shine, my friends, in the here and now and always. Amen.
Good morning. Would you grab one of these, if you have one in front of you or beside you, and turn to 1036. Calypso, Alleluia. So you notice that there's a lot of circles on there, there's a lot of dots on there. At the end of each line, there's a repeat. There's also some fermatas, which means to hold, so you'll need to be really careful of that. Also, 8/8 time signature, it's really weird, so don't worry about it, it's gonna be fine. Shakers, claves, low drum, it's no big deal. We have 2 verses, it's totally fine. 132, it's pretty fast. It's only terrifying if you think about it. So would you close that and put it down? Here's how it's going to sound. Let's try it. Here we go. It's going to be fantastic. So we're going to invite you to stand. And this is what I call a DIY round, which means you get to choose whatever line looks good to you. And you can bop around if you want to. And when we end, it all ends just fine. It's going to be great. Here we go.
Fun. I invite you now to reach out and connect with all those around you in whatever way is comfortable for you. For we truly are all in this together. And I thought the only thing that makes sense to end today's service is a poem by Mary Oliver, one that you know well. You do not have to be good. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let that soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clear blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. It calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over and over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Welcome home. Amen.